Hello, dear listeners. Hello, dear YouTube viewers. Hello, everybody that are learning more information about data. I hope everything is really cool. So let's start our next podcast episode that is called Coding Invaders Podcast, in which we share you beautiful stories of successful people who have decided to connect their life with data, with artificial intelligence, and so on. This podcast is perfect for people who would like to enter the data analytics or data science world and are afraid of making a first step. So we invite bright minds that made a tremendous career in data science, in data analytics, in artificial intelligence and machine learning from India and ask them questions about their work, life, and attitude. My name is Raman Kumar Vyas. I'm Chief Marketing Officer of Coding Invaders, an online educational platform that teaches people data analysis and data science from scratch. If you're looking for a career change and want to get a profession in data analytics, we're glad to announce the launch of data analytics specialization, which starts every month. Within 6 months, you will learn all the skills and tools required to enter the data analytics field. Podcast listeners can get extra 10% discount with the code word coding podcast. Please leave your reviews on the platform where you're listening our podcast, be it Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, or YouTube. This will help us to get higher ranking and more people will be able to listen to our interviews. We do this for you and we want to bring you maximum benefit from it. If you have questions about data, IT, career to our guests, please send us your question in audio format, and we will ask them most interesting of them in our podcast. So send your questions to info@the rate of Coding Invaders. And today, let me introduce our special guest. His name is Joy, and he's very experienced guy in data analytics, in artificial intelligence, and research. And let's start the questions. Hi, thank you very much, Joy, for joining us. We're very happy to have you here. We know that you are very busy, so
Thank,
nice to see you here.
Thanks, Roman, for inviting me.
Cool. We decided to divide our today's talk on three parts. In the first part, we would like to ask you questions about your career, about your passion, about what was the trigger for you to become to connect your life with the data. In second part, we would like to talk a bit about business and philosophy. And the third part, if you would like, you can give some kind of advice to our students and to all people who decided or who are in their way to deciding to connect their career with the data field. My first question is, what started your career? How did you come to be successful? And could you please tell us more about your way, about your path?
Sure, Roman. So first of all, I would like to mention about like my passion towards mathematics, right? When I was a student, in my school days, I love math a lot. And from there, like it started. And then when I selected like statistics is in my 12th grade, like as my, core subject. And then I did my graduation in statistics. And while doing the graduation, right, that time I thought about, and in fact, that time, the computer science or like computer engineering was very rare. I mean, very few people used to get chance to study like computer science engineering. So, but there was a computer inside our like statistics department, and I tried out few things and got to know like this is called programming. And although it was not in my normal day-to-day syllabus, but I borrowed some books and tried my like few logics on statistics to write a program, right? So, and from there the journey begins. So, while I understood like a lot of theories and concepts of statistics, and then I also started learning the programming part. And then I did my post graduation in computer science, which actually helped me to bridge the gap between these two, right? And then I started doing my research. While doing my post graduation, I in my final semester, right, I did a research where it was completely AI, and definitely it was machine learning. Not only that, it was neural network, and I'm talking about like early 2000, right? I mean, and that time even the corporate world, they are not like too much familiar with AI. So only few academic organizations, they started deep research on artificial intelligence, at least in India, I'm talking about, right? And from there, like, I mean, I really loved because it was a pure blend of mathematics, statistics, computer science, to some extent, psychology, linguistics, and all these things together. And while we are trying out, like, okay, training a model with data and so on, right? So I wrote like almost 2,500 lines of code in C programming language, and that was my first neural network programming, and without having any third-party library. So it was like from scratch. So that was the beginning, and then I published a lot of papers because when I tried to like enhance the research skill, I mean, always we have to focus on publications either with paper or patent, right? So then I moved to the corporate world. I was involved with IBM, Microsoft, Salesforce, right, so on. So that was like all for, I mean, in the AI team, especially when I started like patenting in within IBM, right? I mean, it was with mostly with Watson, which is one of the supercomputer launched by, again, very early days by Watson, right? In the AI, uh, like AI specific product, right? I mean, I can mention that. So that actually helped, and then gradually I learned. And so what I did, right? I mean, continuously upskill myself, right? Because I started with my traditional statistical analysis, then traditional classical machine learning based approaches, even image processing, computer vision, natural language processing. The techniques what I adopted, I mean, at the beginning, right, of my journey, versus the techniques that are being used nowadays, right, in the recent past. I mean, there are a lot of differences. I mean, now we have deep learning, a lot of new technologies came, and the technologies with respect to the processor, memory, all these things also change. We have like a lot of new open source libraries, a lot of open data, right? So now with that kind of a, I mean, journey, right? I mean, almost of 2 decades, right? And a lot of things I've seen with respect to this AI and data science field, right? Even when I started my journey, the phrase data science was not there. But then fortunately, my name also came as one of the top 10 data scientists in India. Uh, and I mean, and I started like patenting. So I have currently around 65 patents, and all
Mhm.
of them are related to AI, and most of them got also like granted, right? So so to mention about like, I mean, from the how the journey began, and then I mean, when I don't know, also I love to teach, right? So I think that's very important point, right? When someone teaches, right? I mean, a lot of doubts being, I mean, are being cleared, right? That helps a lot, right? I mean, with respect to understanding new problem statement, there are a lot of brainstorming sessions with the students, other teachers. So it's I mean, a very I mean, good opportunity of learning while teaching. And when I was in high school, I thought about like this, like having a community of emerging technologies, and that also kicked me up like about the Musk Research concept, right? So right now I'm the founder and president of Musk Research, and where we try to solve like a lot of artificial intelligence related problems which are very close to the society, like for the benefit of the society. And we are closely working with multiple governments, including Government of India, like Bureau of Indian Standard, and then with Government of Telangana, since I live in Hyderabad. Also, we are trying to partner with Government of West Bengal. So all of these engagements are coming because we are trying to solve few problems with healthcare, education, agriculture, retail, transportation. So these fields. So this helped a lot, like, which, I mean, coming to the point, like, I mean, giving back to the society with respect to technology. I know, like, I mean, there are a lot of NGOs where we can help the society with respect to money or time, but here we are helping the society or the nation with a like bigger picture, and then with respect to technology. So that's in brief about me and my career, Roman.
Very impressive. Thank you very much. How do you think, is it easier right now to study data analytics and data science because of so many data sets are open right now, so many data science and data analyst communities are right now, or it was easier in your scholarship times?
No, definitely not. I mean, now it is easier, but when I was a researcher that time, it was like very hard. Like, I mean, even the library means like actual library where you can borrow the printed books, right? So, and few like things. Open source data concept was not there. Even the internet meant like few email checking, and even Google search was not famous that time, right? Early 2000, I'm talking about. Like I think it came around 2002 or 4. So I mean, how we studied, right? I mean, we actually read a lot of journals, actual journal, the printed version, right? And then tried to understand the algorithm from, I mean, from core concept, from the mathematics
Hmm.
and statistical foundation, and then tried to write the code, right? What would be the corresponding, the logic what I'm understanding from the paper, which is in mathematical formula and equation. Can I write equivalent code, right? In any programming language. So I started with C, then learned C++, Java, and so on. Then Python, R, these things came later, right? I mean, definitely it helped because in Python you have the same code written in a library. So you don't have to write everything from scratch. You can use some third-party library. So there is no point of reinvention of the wheel. At the same time, I would suggest the new generation researchers, they should also go and go inside the code, go inside the libraries also to understand what's happening inside, not like just I'm using it as a black box.
Yeah, the understanding of fundamental things is important, really.
So pros and cons, right? I mean, we
Hmm.
do have those. That's definitely a problem that time. But positive part, like we learned everything from scratch. We know the logic. So I think the new generation researchers also should know. So that's my suggestion. I mean, yeah, definitely the fundamentals and all.
Okay, so what do data analysts and data scientists do in IBM, in Microsoft, and in Salesforce? What are their tasks?
So there is no like a thick boundary between these roles nowadays, like data analyst, data scientists, data engineers, right? Machine learning engineers or researchers, right? AI researcher. Because I mean, everyone has to do like, I mean, we have to like get our hands dirty with respect to understanding data, understanding the business problem first, like what we are doing, then ask ourselves like why we are doing, and then try to connect the dots and bridge the gap between these. Finally, once we focus on the modeling part, which is like 5% of the entire product, right? The actual model, but the 95% work is lot of analysis, be it visualization, be it data pre-processing, annotation, like getting training data ready. So a lot of things. It's starting with data collection also, right? I mean, from where we'll collect the data,
Hmm.
whether the customer is giving us or we are collecting from cloud, from users, primary data or secondary data. So a lot of these things, right? And
Hmm.
then the deployment, the post processing part, hyperparameter tuning, and then deployment. So I will not actually put like boundaries of the okay, I am a data analyst and you're a data scientist and she is a data engineer, he is a researcher, right? So we have to do all of these things, all of these tasks. It's kind of a multi hat. I mean, we have to know like the fundamentals as well as the applications, and then stitch it all together.
Hmm. And what was the business solutions that was made based on data? I mean, for example, in IBM, data analysts helped the business to produce the more sophisticated and more powerful processors, or it was a business data, or it was a data in some other field.
Yeah, so definitely in IBM, I was part of IBM Watson, right? So
Hmm.
and that was one of the first kind of AI driven product, right? Machine learning. So I mean, again, that time there was no title of data scientist or even data analyst. Like I mean, it was mostly in IBM, it was days, right? It was called analytics practitioners, or
Hmm.
even no, I mean, those kind of titles were there. Definitely now they have all these different other titles. But yeah, and so the role wise, right, it was not only analysis, right? So what I mean to say, the core engineering is very very important here, right? I mean, as a data scientist or data analyst, whatever is my job title, but
Hmm.
we have to understand data, we have to convert the logic into algorithm, we have to write codes and then deliver,
Hmm.
right? So all these steps are required, and be it IBM or Microsoft or Salesforce, and wherever I worked, and including the Master Research, which is my organization, right? And we have around 500 plus members, and all of us are volunteers
Wow.
here. And but we have to do all of these steps, right? There is no hard and fast rule like this is only my job kind of.
Okay, could you please share with us kind of most exciting projects you have worked on? Maybe something special, maybe one you love more.
Yeah, there are multiple. I loved one of the projects, which is a hackathon project in Microsoft, and that was actually we built a robot. So the objective was like to, orchestrating a lot of artificial intelligence components or cognitive services together. So we used like 95% of them, which was being offered by Microsoft, and then we also developed some custom algorithms by ourselves with a team of 15 members, and that was a hackathon, like 1 week, actually
Hmm.
5 days, right? I mean, excluding the weekends. So five
Hmm.
days on the team, and we had a designer, UX designer, the IoT guy, robotics guy, and like the data scientist, data analyst, software engineers, and we made that entire product within 5 days. And that was a physical robot I'm talking about. It was like printed in Microsoft Garage, the 3D printed
Wow.
body parts, and we used like microcontroller and microprocessor for left brain and right brain, and it was like built on Microsoft stack. Even the operating system was Windows 10 IoT version. So it was really fun, very fast, and really appreciated by the leadership team. So I wanted to highlight that project.
Okay, thank you. Was it hard for you to get a job in IBM, in Microsoft, and Salesforce because it's a large worldwide company? And our students who will listen our podcast, they wonder, is it really true that I'm like a simple guy from village or from anywhere can become really one day a person who is working in Microsoft and solve really complicated tasks based on data? Is it really hard for people to become a Microsoft artificial intelligence and research engineer or IBM data specialist?
Yeah, I think it's not like it's hard or something. It's definitely hard work, but is required, and I would suggest to the practitioners, right? I mean, please prepare yourself so that the recruiter will reach out to you. I mean, through your professional network like LinkedIn or any other like social network, right? Where you portray like what you are doing and whatever you're focusing, your projects, your publications, all these things. If you properly put it in your social media and all, you will get calls from the recruiters. You don't have to apply even for any of these.
Hmm.
Even I didn't apply.
So demand is
Mm.
higher than supply.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, true data scientists are rare, so there is huge demand, and so we have to focus on like what we are doing.
And is there a strong demand for data analysts? I mean, for fresher data analysts who have just finished their course and have like two or three projects in their portfolio.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So there are a lot of demand with respect to data analysis as well, and there are a lot of different new tasks that are being assigned, right? I mean, the visualization, even like there are like predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics, right? So these things are very important. I mean, apart from the descriptive analytics, which is like visualization and all. These are important. Also, there are a lot of new jobs are coming with respect to like automated data annotation, like pre-processing, right? So these things are also very important, and it's like an ecosystem is being built, right, around data science.
Okay. Okay. So in 2016, you have decided to move to artificial intelligence and research job. Uh, why?
Sorry, come
I mean,
in 20.
in 2016, I mean, you decided to connect your life with artificial intelligence and research. If I'm not mistaken.
I decided that in 2020, 20 is two. I mean 2002, not
Ah,
26.
okay. But as I
Yeah,
see,
I'm a AI researcher for last 19 years.
okay, okay. Sorry, that's a. I think I mistakenly read your LinkedIn profile. So, thank you very much. You have actually a great story. So you started with data analytics, then you were a data scientist, and then you moved to artificial intelligence. What problems are the scientific community currently working on in data science, in artificial intelligence, in machine learning? Maybe there are areas, for example, business processes in which there are no technologies and we need to build it.
Mhm. Yeah, there are a lot of problem statements. In the beginning, I mentioned about different domains, right? I mean, healthcare, education, agriculture, retail, transportation. So these are the fields where a lot of focuses are there. Definitely telco, finance. So these are the business domains where we are applying AI. And from horizontal perspective, we are applying it on multiple kind of data, right? I mean, the data types. It can be on textual data, which is where we use like natural language processing. It can be on images where we use computer vision techniques. It can be on speech, right, on audio files. It can be video analytics. So a lot of these like different kind of unstructured, structured, and semi-structured data where we apply to get like the actionable insights, right? And definitely when we mention like artificial intelligence is like it started very old, like I mean it's like 1950s technology. It didn't came in 2000, right? So I think in 1956 Professor John McCarthy first mentioned or coined this particular term, artificial intelligence, and from there
Mhm.
till now, like that concept didn't change because we are trying to simulate human intelligence, right? And for human, it's not like for replacing human. Definitely it is to like minimize the human effort, right? Any tool, any machine what we use, that is for minimizing our own effort. And AI is just like that. So yeah.
What if the humanity can build the AI that will be more clever than humanity itself?
No,
What
that's
do you
not the
think?
objective, right? Yeah, that's not the objective here. So I mean, when we had like the first invention of human was like will, right? I mean, and that was not replacement of leg, right?
Hmm.
So when we had like wills, it was for the cart, the mankind they made the cart and all, right? And now we are still reinventing will from that stone age to the latest like Tesla. Definitely there is a huge difference of those architecture of the wheel itself, but those are not replacement of our walking or running, but it is actually for minimizing our effort. Why we drive a car? Just to minimize our effort, that's it. We are not trying to improve anything.
Okay, okay. So, and how do you think what AI will look like in 100 years?
So something new come, right? I mean, there will be like a lot of new technologies will come, new terminologies will come, probably not in 100 years. In next 5 years there will be like quantum neural network, which is like quantum computing plus neural network, which is being researched now, and it will come in another 5 to 10 years. And
Hmm.
then something else will come, right? So it depends on what are the different frameworks we are using, what are the problems we are trying to solve, and then what is where we can actually try to minimize the human effort, which will be give, and which will also give us like actionable insights. So our decision making, easy decisions, so all of these things. I mean, when we had the remote control TV, right? So the remote control, when it came, it didn't replace like our hand or something, like where we used to rotate the knobs of the old TV, right? I mean, we used to rotate the knobs to change the channel or to increase the volume. Now, once the remote control came, right? I mean, so that helped us to just reduce that particular effort, nothing else.
Okay, so that's a great news for us because you think that AI and even no-code technologies will not replace engineers and data analysts.
Absolutely not. Rather, we will need a lot of engineers and data analysts to actually make these products successful.
That's great. That's great. That's nice to hear. Okay, doubtful question. Is data good or bad? Do you think it's fair that people, in terms of social networks, give all their data to corporations and they manipulate us? For okay, we have some healthcare industries upgraded because of data researchers. We have farm industries upgraded. We have the possibility to exchange the information really fast, but some kind of data algorithms, such as YouTube recommendation system or Netflix recommendation system, are they really good or bad for human? Because well, it actually the YouTube recommendation system usually pushed me to spend on YouTube 1 or more hours per day before sleep. So what do you think about social networks and recommendation algorithms? What is their future? Will not them will they turn the humanity into like down basis or not?
No, I think like again, this is a traditional advertisement. Now it's kind of a platform we're using, right? So and the recommendation thing is also like earlier. Like think about like a human recommendation. I mean, if you go to a financial advisor, that person may have some recommendation for you. Now that human being may have some bias also inside. Like okay, I will get a better commission if I sell this particular product. So instead of product A, that person is recommending product B because of that particular human bias. Now AI can actually reduce that human bias. There are a lot of human bias in recommendation, be it like a medical prescription, be it a product. If I visit an electronic store and some person comes and salesperson, and that person is recommending me one particular brand but not the other brands. Now what is the logic behind that, right? So that person is not using AI. Now that is like where we can actually have AI which will reduce, or rather our target would be like to nullify all these human bias which are actually negative in nature,
Yep.
be it bias towards gender, age, right? I mean, region, country, language, multiple things, right? So and actually we can use AI with respect to that, where we can actually, I mean, nullify the human bias. So be it recommendation system or any decision support system, but that will help a lot.
Okay, cool. Nice to hear that also. Okay, and you mentioned about virtual reality. What are your thoughts about the future of virtual reality? What do you think? One of my theory is that there is a possibility that some people decided to move to virtual reality, and maybe it could be like a half of all population who will have like money to do this, and there will be like two corporations. One is like Facebook that will build a reality within this simulation, and the second will be like the Amazon. They will like serve the bodies and deliver foods and so on. So you can so you will not die. So what do you think? Is it possible way for developing of humanity to escape to virtual reality and to build a world there?
No, I mean, from the real world, we cannot skip, right? I mean, definitely, as I mentioned, the storybook versus these, right? So even the virtual reality and versus like augmented reality. Basically, augmented reality helps a lot, right? I mean, suppose I'm getting like a picture of my room, and then thinking about like this particular furniture where it should fit, right? Or with my face, which spec should actually match. So these things are like augmented reality. Few things are real, few things are like virtual. So that definitely has like a lot of prospects. Think about like a three dimensional diagram, and I'm like zooming a molecular image or a cancerous cell. It will definitely help. So if we apply these technologies for serious invention, again, which would be beneficial for the entire nation or the society, so then it is good. But again, I mean, if it is only gaming and like there is no meaning, right? I mean, or there is no final outcome or benefit, then it is just waste of time, in my opinion.
And that was a philosophy part of our today's talk. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your vision. So, because you are an example of a person with a successful career, with a tremendous career, I think that our listeners will be interested to get your advice. So, what is your advice for those who want to develop in data analytics and data science? How can an ordinary person make such a successful career?
Yeah, so I mean, there are a lot of study materials nowadays, right? I mean, it's not so hard to become data scientist. So only thing is, like as I mentioned earlier, like they have to focus on the innovation part, thinking out of the box. It should not be like, okay, I know few libraries and then I became data scientist. The word scientist is very heavy, right? I mean, when we are claiming ourselves, then we have to prove like we have such kind of publications, patents, and so on. So they should focus on these as well.
I think my last question: what is your biggest dream in terms of data?
In terms of
Of data, in terms of data, in terms of progress that that connects with data, maybe about the future.
Yeah, so from Musk research, what we are thinking, like as I mentioned, democratizing AI. So AI should be like very much accessible, just like now the computers or smartphones are. Uh, Many people can actually use it. So same way, like AI-driven algorithms should be used or consumed by many people. So that's my dream.
Joy, thank you very much for coming. It was very inspiring. It was very interesting. It will be great if we can repeat this interview in a year or sort of that. Thanks very much for coming. Maybe you have something to say as the ending part of our talk today.
Yeah, absolutely. Just connect with me over LinkedIn. So search Joy Mustafi and Musk Research. I mean, anyone wants to become a member of Musk Research, most welcome.
Yeah, please follow Joy on the LinkedIn and any social network. Yeah, we will post his contact on our podcast description. So thank you very much and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.